Mr. Frederick Kemp, President of the Atlantic Council, Mr. Nick Schifrin, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. Thank you for the kind welcome at the prestigious Atlantic Council. It is a pleasure to be here again in Washington, D.C. This city reflects the weight of global decision-making. We deeply value our engagement with U.S. think tanks and policy institutions, and I look forward to a fruitful exchange today between us. The world is changing at a rapid pace. Old certainties are giving way to the new realities. Power is diffused and conflict is complex. The global economy is under pressure. Climate, technology, and geopolitics are converging. In such challenging times, peace cannot be passive. Pakistan believes in peace through resilience and responsibility. A youthful nation of 240 million, fifth largest in the world, Pakistan is a nuclear power. We are also a peace-seeking and peace-loving nation. Stability in South Asia is vital for us and for the world. Borrowing from the peace through strength paradigm, deterrence matters, so does dialogue. Pakistan is turning a corner. Since our government assumed office last year, Pakistan has taken tough decisions to surmount external challenges to our economy. We concluded a successful IFM program, the first of few of the 37 months, 7 billion extended fund facility validates Pakistan's macroeconomic stabilization efforts and pursuit of structural reforms. Ladies and gentlemen, recent improvements in macroeconomic indicators are evident through improved current account balance, stable exchange rate, declining inflation, and rebuilding of forex reserves. Terrorism remains a challenge, but we are fighting back. Democracy is not only functioning, but thriving. The government is committed to human development with substantial investments in health, education, skills development, and social protection. In the realm of governance and political reform, we remain committed to deepening the rule of law, freedom of expression, and pluralism, values we share with the American people and ideals we hope to see upheld consistently. Ladies and gentlemen, our relationship with the United States is enduring, wide-ranging, and evolving. It has proved to be a consequential partnership. Whenever the two countries converged on global issues, be it the Cold War or the war on terror. We are encouraged by the upward trajectory in our bilateral partnership since President Trump assumed office. Earlier today, I held a very productive meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and we agreed on our shared commitment to deepen and broaden the partnerships are coming closer, and we have made considerable progress already in a short span of 6 months. In his joint address to the Congress, President Trump recognized Pakistan's vital assistance in capturing Abbey-Gate mastermind Sharifullah, Pakistan's significance for U.S. national security in battling global terrorist outfits has been underscored by the U.S. military leadership, more recently by Commander CENTCOM General Kurilla. Leadership exchanges are on the rise, as evidenced by May 2025 ceasefire between India and Pakistan. The U.S. has emerged as a credible arbiter of peace and stability in South Asia. In rebooting our bilateral relationship for mutual benefit and win-win outcomes, our two sides have moved beyond a transactional lens. We seek a relationship grounded not in dependency, but in mutual benefit, not in blame, but in dialogue, not in narrow counterterrorism checklist, but in broad-based cooperation. We are working together to constructively address each other's concerns and advance our mutual trust and interest. Our dialogue spans security, energy, technology, industry, IT, AI, counter-terrorism, and regional peace. Our economic ties are ascendant. We are working constructively to finalize a trade deal soon. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, we value our economic partnership with the United States. We see trade, not just aid, as the future. The United States is the largest single country destination for Pakistani exports. Our cost-effective and quality textiles and apparel ensure keeping costs low for the households. This industry is also an example of a great partnership. Not many are aware that Pakistan is the second largest buyer of US cotton, contributing to the well-being of US farmers. Pakistan seeks better market access in the US. On our part, we are working towards granting greater market access to the US products in the large Pakistani market. Ladies and gentlemen, talks in this regard are underway. These include discussions on textiles, digital trade, and agriculture. We hope to conclude a mutually beneficial trade agreement at the earliest, hopefully in days, not in weeks. Pakistan has competitive advantage in IT and is blessed with minerals and mining resources, including rare earth material. We are also creating a blockchain and crypto ecosystem. We welcome US investments, especially in energy, mining, technology, and startups. Eventually, a free trade agreement could be a game changer to boost our economic partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now dilate on the situation in our region, a region which, like others, cannot prosper if conflict persists. On Tuesday this week, I presided over a UN Security Council session on strengthening peace and security through multilateralism and the peaceful settlement of disputes. Incidentally, you will be happy to note that after quite some time, the Security Council found a consensus resolution on the topic, which has been very rare in the current environments in the last 2 years. Jammu and Kashmir remains a close dispute between Pakistan and India. At the heart of this dispute lies adherence to the UN Security Council resolutions, reaffirming the right of self-determination to the Kashmiri people. India has illegally usurped this right for 7 decades and continues with this tyrannical occupation. India's unilateral actions in August 2019 were illegal and unilateral. Its actions to change demographics of this disputed region in contravention of the international law, including the Forced Geneva Convention, are surely not acceptable to anyone who believes in justice, security, and peace. India uses the terrorism bogey to mislead the world and malign Pakistan. This is what happened on 22nd of April this year, when India instantaneously blamed Pakistan for the Pahalgam incident. The India-Pakistan standoff this May, sparked by a familiar pattern of escalation and mutual distrust, brought the region dangerously close to the brink. Once again, crisis diplomacy, back-channel communications, international engagement, particularly from the United States and friendly countries, played a critical role in de-escalation. We are thankful to President Trump, Secretary Rubio, and his team for facilitating the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. We are committed to sustaining it. Unlike our neighbor and its leadership, you won't have heard any political rhetoric saying that this is a temporary, we are going to roll out the real one. No, we believe in peace, and we never escalated as a first mover. We only acted both in the skies and on the ground in self-defense as per the Charter, Article 51 of the UN Charter. But we cannot and we must not continue to rely on luck and last-time interventions. What we need is a sustainable architecture of peace in South Asia. an architecture in which the United States as a global power and historic partner to both nations can play a constructive and stabilizing role. Pakistan does not seek conflict with any of its neighbors. Our vision is not rooted in rivalry, but in regional connectivity. And you've just seen that just on 17th of July, after efforts of 2 years, I visited Kabul, where Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan signed a railway connectivity project known as Trans-Afghan Railway. Our vision is not rooted, as I said, in rivalry, but in regional connectivity, in trade corridors, energy partnerships, climate resilience, and cultural exchange. Regional peace, however, will remain elusive until all parties, including India, commit to a dialogue and dispute resolution in good faith and under international norms. The new normal which India tried to establish has been buried between 7th and 10th of May. The claim of supremacy, the claim of hegemony, the claim of net security provider are just gone. In this regard, I want to underscore the importance of credible, continued US engagement. This includes strategic dialogue, but also military-to-military coordination, counter-terrorism cooperation, and importantly, clear-eyed diplomacy that recognizes both the risks of disengagement and the potential of balanced involvement. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, the relationship between the United States and China is the most consequential in the 21st century. Cooperation between the two could help lift millions out of poverty and augur well for global development and prosperity. Conflict, on the other hand, would prove disastrous for the entire world. China is our strategic partner and the United States is our long-standing friend. In the past, we have played the role of a bridge between the two great nations, and we stand ready to do the same if called upon. Our foreign policy is not a zero-sum game. We hope to see friendly relations between the US and China and do not wish to embroil in bloc politics. A stable Afghanistan is in our vital interest. We want an Afghanistan that is peaceful, inclusive, and sovereign. However, the threat of terrorism from Afghan soil is real and the biggest threat to Pakistan's security. While on 19th of April this year, after 4 years of almost stalemate between the two countries, I visited for a day. We discussed politics, we discussed trade, we discussed economy, we discussed refugees, we discussed everything under the sun. And the decisions were made public instantly after the meeting, and both nations heard live. You will be glad to know, whatever I committed 19th of April, everything has been implemented so far. That led to the confidence, and that led to the signing of the Trans-Afghan Railway project on 17th of July, when I visited for 4 hours Kabul, just for this purpose. We continue to urge interim Afghan government to fulfill their anti-terror commitments. We have no ask. We want to fully cooperate. It's a neighbor. We have centuries-old relationship. We have almost same culture. So the only thing is that their soil should not be allowed against any country, but to talk of Pakistan, for terrorist activities. This is the only ask. We are deeply concerned, by the way, by the violence in Gaza, with loss of over 58,000 innocent lives, predominantly women and children. And now we are watching last few days the hunger issue. We call for an immediate ceasefire, durable peace, and rebuilding of Gaza. A two-state solution is the only path to lasting peace. Pakistan declared foreign policy for decades, is two-state solution, with Palestine having its own homeland, a contiguous, secure, stable, sovereign country for the Palestinians, with Al-Quds al-Sharif, its capital, and pre-1967, its borders. On Iran, Pakistan calls for de-escalation and dialogue. We supported regional diplomacy and we tried to prevent the enlargement of what we saw over 12 days war between Israel and Iran. We'll continue to support and encourage Iran for dialogue and diplomacy. And I believe, again, as a neighbor, we are performing this as a duty, not as an obligation. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I will conclude by underscoring that Pakistan seeks peace with dignity. We seek partnerships grounded in mutual trust and respect. And we seek progress for our people, for our region, and for the entire world. I thank you for your time, your patience hearing, and your anticipated questions, obviously. I'm cautioned already, and your enduring commitment to future where the US-Pakistan partnership can rise above history and help shape it. I thank you all.
Diffused, and what can Pakistan do now going forward to try to prevent another episode like that?
Well, I think first of all, we have to start with mutual trust and stop the blame game. We saw in Pulwama, it started with blame game. A great friend in India reached out to the international capitals, sold his narrative, and convinced them it was Pakistan. And till date, there is no proof which has been established that Pakistan was involved in Pulwama incident. But what did we see at the end? The end was the decades-old United Nations Security Council resolution binned. The constitutionally accepted the status of Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370, removed and deleted from the Constitution, and declaring the disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir, waiting for the right of exercising right of self-determination, just all of a sudden as union territories. Now this cannot. You see, there has to be honesty of purpose. We both have to work. So we are ready to work for the terrorism. Against the terrorism, we should joint efforts, all the countries, and we are the biggest victim. We have fought the world war against terrorism. We were the frontline, fighters. We lost 80,000 lives. We had 152 billion of US dollars losses, economic losses, minimum. Our total debt and liabilities external is 130 billion. So nobody should tell us that we are not serious in, and we eradicated terrorism. 2013 to 2017, if you see the data, 2012 close and 2017, it was our political party's government in Pakistan. Prime Minister was Mr. Nawaz Sharif. I was Finance Minister of Pakistan. I was financing all that, hundreds of billions. The US leadership at that time used to say that if General Musharraf couldn't do this great job, couldn't have the courage, Benazir Bhutto couldn't start it, if this government of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif does this job, it would be a great service to the world history. And we did it. We delivered. Anyway, there was some subsequent mistakes. Obviously, I don't want to go into detailed, discussion because we have limited time. But then, the next government opened up the entire borders. 35 to 40,000 TTP people came back. 100 hardened criminals were released by that government, and there was resurrection of terrorism in Pakistan. But we are still committed to just eradicate this menace from our soil, inshallah, God willing.
I talk about the conflict with India. There was a point where there was dialogue, obviously. More than a decade ago, there were actually genuine discussions, all sorts of confidence building and exchanges. And then, of course, that receded. Do you see that as a possibility again? And are there steps, concrete steps Pakistan could take to bring back that dialogue that existed before?
Well, it takes two to tango. We can't unilaterally do it. We are willing. 10th of May, when our operation in defense of our own sovereignty, protection of sovereignty and territorial integrity ended. It was around 7:45 a.m. Pakistan time. I had a call from Secretary Rubio around between 8:15 and 8:20. India is ready to cease fire. Are you ready? I said, we never wanted to start. We never wanted to start. If we had anything to do, we would not have offered within 3 days an independent international investigation of Pahalgam incidents, number one. Number two, down the line, in the process, we proved that the statements by India, they're still on the website of their Foreign Office statement, that Pakistan attacked 15 military installations. We had attacked none at that time. So you see, and Secretary Rubio told me that I'm going to confirm to Jaishankar your acceptance of the ceasefire, and there will be very soon a dialogue between the two at a neutral place. We are waiting for that. So we are ready, obviously, but the dialogue has to be composite dialogue that will be meaningful. We will discuss counterterrorism, people will discuss economy, we'll discuss trade, we'll discuss Jammu and Kashmir. We have to have the whole spectrum of subjects to be discussed on this. So we are ready.
You talked about terrorism, you talked about Pakistan's efforts to counter terrorism in your own territory that you've suffered, your own losses among your own citizens. The U.S. has designated, as you know, a number of groups as terrorist organizations in Pakistan, and most recently this resistance front that initially took the responsibility for this attack in Kashmir and later withdrew that responsibility. What would you say to the U.S. in terms of how Pakistan is trying to shut down some of these designated groups? And is the government trying to cut off their fundraising, prevent them from training, and so on?
You see, it is obviously sovereign decision of United States. They have designated TRF. We have no issue, and we welcome if they have any evidence that it is involved. But linking it to the Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, is wrong. That outfit was dismantled years ago by Pakistan. The actors were prosecuted, arrested, jailed, and the entire outfit of LET was destroyed and is no more there. So if it is an independent entity, TRF, and the US authorities have any evidence that they were involved, we have no objection to that. Obviously, it's a sovereign state decision. But surely, I can guarantee you that this TRF has nothing to do with the Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, which has become defunct years ago. I remember when I was finance minister 2013, 17, it was all actions were taken at that time.
Did this come up today in your discussions with Secretary Rubio and the other officials?
Well, because we have not objected to this thing. Surely, this is their sovereign right, and I'm sure they would have substantial evidence. They would not have done it only to please India. India has been dying to do it, but linking it to a defunct, outfit, that is unfair. We are okay. We have no issue at all.
When you met with your American friends today, how would you compare your country's relationship with this administration compared to the previous administration? Would you say that, is there any difference in how that's proceeding?
Having experience of around 30 years of this bilateral relationship, I think it's going back to the normal. We had a wonderful relationship in President Clinton's time. I was finance minister. That was the nuclear detonation period, the most difficult one. Very severe sanctions in Pakistan, but despite those sanctions, we negotiated very successfully, very happily with us. Senator Kerry was, in the next round, if you recall. We had excellent relationship in President Obama time. When former President Biden was vice president. So we had excellent. In our relationship, we had hikes, highs and lows. I think we have to come out of this transactional relationship, and it should be strategic, stable, and perpetual. So that's where we are eyeing at. I think we appreciate the efforts of President Trump and, as I said, Secretary Rubio in my small, brief remarks. They reached out to us. They were constantly in touch with both sides. And so were we. We had proactive diplomacy, and now Indian even, the fair writers and their media has written that Indian narrative was totally mishandled.
Now, you talked about strengthening the U.S. relationship, but of course, things have changed since Bill Clinton was president, right? So your country now buys a huge amount of military hardware from China. You've talked about balancing China and the U.S., these two superpowers in this intense competition, but if you're buying most of your weapons from China, does that hamper your relationship with the U.S.? Does it kind of cripple even the possibilities for the future?
It shouldn't. Why should? Why should it?
Well, the U.S. sees China as a serious threat.
It's a matter of who gives a better deal. It's as simple as that. And we have such a strong. We should not be seeing the relationship with the lens of other country. It has to be standalone. And I did say we have great strategic relationship with China, but we have long-lasting, friendship with the U.S. All the time. So this is objective, and this is the goal of our government to upscale the relationship back to where it used to touch the high points. So it must not be transactional that lows. We are in Cold War together, and then their lows come, and then again we have a better cooperation partnership because of the war on terrorism. All these phases we have seen, but we are doing our best to make it strategically economic cooperation and long-term partnership. This is our objective.
I was just going to say, during the Cold War, countries had to choose sides.
Sure.
And some people are now saying this is something akin to the Cold War, maybe slightly different, but a lot of tension between China and the U.S. So that's why I'm asking. It must be very difficult at times now, because both countries kind of want you to choose.
Well, I think we have played the role of bridge between the two countries in the past, and we can do the same. We can bring the two countries closer, and I think that will be win-win for the globe. You will get millions and millions out of poverty, and that would be very positive. So let's see from the positive angle instead of seeing from a narrow negative angle. Obviously, one can always find something fishy if you want to think negative. So we are very, very sure that this relationship can be a win-win for the globe.
What is the outlook for trade now? There's a trade deficit, obviously a trade surplus for Pakistan with the U.S. You mentioned minerals. Would be quite a major development if that were to happen. That would also be a huge commitment for both countries, obviously. Logistically and politically, is there signs that you're close to some trade deal and a minerals deal?
I think we are very close to finalizing a deal with the U.S. Our teams have been here in Washington discussing, having virtual meetings, and a committee has been tasked by the Prime Minister to fine-tune now. I think I did mention that it's not going to be months, but not even weeks. I would say days that we would come up. So this is one side, but the potential for the U.S. and the U.S. Business entrepreneurs is huge. You see, a country with external debt of only $130 billion US. Our percentage is much better than U.S. debt to GDP, much better than UK, much better than Japan. But they have secondary markets. If they're to finance their external deficit, they simply float the paper, sovereign paper, and it's bought. So you see, we believe that the potential Pakistan has in IT, in AI, in mines and minerals, and by the way, the most conservative estimates of Pakistan's mines and minerals and the natural resources is $6 to $8 trillion. Now, Recordec is one. I'm glad that your Exim Bank is looking. World Bank is ready to finance the U.S. entrepreneurs who are going to be involved. So this is one block. There's one study which says that Pakistan is likely to be the fourth richest offshore gas country. So we have advertised 40 blocks. Most welcome. Let the American, investors and entrepreneurs come and start explorations. So, we want, we are not pick and choose. We are open, and we want our friends, our American, by the way, there are dozens of multinationals, companies of US, which have, decades-old business setup in Pakistan. You could name few, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, there's so many. So I think there's a great potential. This is a positive, this government. You see, we reached, it's an unfortunate cycle. We reached, by 2013, Pakistan was a macroeconomic unstable country. These natural resources were not flagged or highlighted in the way these have been now. And we had a serious problem. But 2017, only in 3.5 years, we not only fixed our all macro indicators, economic indicators were fine, inflation was low 3.59, growth was 6.3, highest forex reserves, and 24th global economy in the world. Unfortunately, what I call natural, we all know COVID, natural and human pandemic in Pakistan. I add the human pandemic because it was a mishandling in the next 2018-22 Pakistan economy. And we landed as 47, we declined from 24th to 47th global economy. So this government is committed to take it back. So while we have stabilized the economy, now we are working for the growth and take the economy now towards the right direction. So there's a great potential for friends, American friends, to look into Pakistan market.
Tariffs are a great threat right now for many governments and the ministers who come to Washington. Are you optimistic? Will you make a forecast? Is the tariff for Pakistani goods not going to go up to 27%? Do you have a?
I can't predict, but as long as we are better than or equal to our peers, we should be fine. You have to compete with the peers, and the peers, we have seen what tariffs are there. So perhaps we will carefully watch the announcements. Few have been done. They are so far not very worrisome. So, it is, as I said, it's a sovereign state. It has to take its own decisions. It's a policy, it's a big policy move. You haven't seen this sort of approach, and the formula was very innovative. You are calculating the trade deficit by excluding the services revenue. Wonderful. As a chartered accountant, I love to see that formula because you rarely find such formulas in normal maths.
I'm going to switch to domestic politics in Pakistan, unfortunately.
Sure.
You may not like this question.
Sure.
But as you know, about 2 years ago, Imran Khan was arrested. He has a very significant level of support in your own country and abroad as well. And there are...
नायब वज़ीर-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद इसहाक़ डार अटलांटिक काउंसिल के ज़रिए एहतमाम तकरीब में गुफ्तगू कर रहे हैं। नाज़रीन, उन्होंने कहा कि अमेरिका से ताल्लुक़ कसीरुल-जहती है, हम एड नहीं ट्रेड चाहते हैं। पाकिस्तान अमरीकी कॉटन का दूसरा बड़ा ख़रीदार है। नायब वज़ीर-ए-आज़म ने कहा कि पाकिस्तान की बहुत सी बरामदात अमरीका जाती हैं। पाकिस्तान अमरीकी मंडियों तक मुअस्सर रसाई चाहता है। गज़ा की सूरत हाल के हवाले से भी उन्होंने बात की और तशवीश का इजहार किया। कहा, पाकिस्तान तनाज़ात का पुरअमन हल चाहता है। बैतुल मक़दस आज़ाद फ़लस्तीनी रियासत का दारुल हुकूमत होना चाहिए। इसके साथ साथ उन्होंने पाकिस्तान और भारत की कशीदगी के हवाले से अमरीकी किरदार को भी सराहा और कहा कि अमरीका ने पाकिस्तान भारत सीज़ फायर में इंतहाई अहम किरदार अदा किया। पाकिस्तान अमरीका और चीन के दरमियान पुल का किरदार अदा करने के लिए भी तैयार है। इसके साथ साथ पाकिस्तानी मईशत का जिक्र भी नायब वज़ीर-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद इसहाक़ डार ने इस गुफ्तगू के दौरान किया और उनका कहना था कि माशी चैलेंजेस पर कामयाबी के साथ काबू पाया है और पाकिस्तान में मैक्रो इकनॉमिक इस्तेहकाम आ चुका है। महंगाई की शरह में वाज़ेह कमी हुई है। अमरीकी वज़ीर ख़ारिजा मार्को रूबियो के साथ मुलाकात इंतहाई मुफीद।
Who actually on behalf of the government at that time negotiated with my colleagues, the ceasefire, I will call it, the domestic ceasefire, political ceasefire. So they wound up and everything fine. You see, when you take the state on and you pick up the arms and you do things what happened on May the 9th, unfortunately a man like me cannot even do anything. The due process of law has to take place, which is in progress. So I think we should not politicize anything. For example, if I say that Aafia Siddiqui is here for decades and going to be God knows till when, so I think I will be unfair. If your due process for law has resulted in that that action, the same applies to everybody. So there's no exception. If you are popular political leader, it doesn't give you license to pick arms, to provoke public, and to go and attack the security installation of a country. This is nothing but treason. So I'm not a judge. I can't do anything. I used to facilitate, but even a man like me can't do anything. The due process of law will take its own course. But I can assure you, this government has nothing to, as you know, that this government hasn't done anything, by the way. The current government hasn't taken any action against. It's the judiciary, it is the caretaker government, it is the judiciary, it is the due process. So we hardly have any right to interfere like any other democratic country in the judicial system. So that's what the fact is.
Back to what we were talking about earlier.
By the way, we were friends and foes in a life. Imran Khan, before he entered in politics, he was a regular visitor to me for donations for his hospital. So it's not that we don't know each other, but I wish he should not have provoked, he should not have mobilized his party, taking the state. This was most unfortunate. I wish he should have done it.
You talked earlier about terrorism. I just want to go back to that one more time. In militancy, there's been a resurgence of TTP to some degree, and there's been accusations that the government in Kabul has somehow given them shelter at times. Do you have any regrets or second thoughts about how Pakistan has dealt with the Taliban over the years in Afghanistan? And did you underestimate or miscalculate, perhaps, about how the Afghan Taliban would operate once in power?
Well, first of all, let's talk about TTP, Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. Pakistani. I just explained to you, perhaps one of the most disturbed Pakistani would be myself, who spent hundreds of billions between 2014 and 2017 to eliminate this menace. It is a great friend we talked about, his government. They just released the hardened criminals, over 100. They opened the borders, 35 to 40,000 TTPs came back, the Talibans came back, they're resurrection. But we haven't given up, we have restarted this progress because it was our political party which did it in 2014, 2017, cleans up, we'll do it again. But yes, as a country, that decision was, in my opinion, with hindsight, the most unfortunate one. Should not have. Neither those hardened criminals should have been released, who are now these suicidal bombers leaders, group leaders, nor the border should have been reopened for all these Talibans to come free. And I don't know whether you remember somebody said that I'm only here in Kabul for a cup of tea. That cup of tea has caused us the resurgence of the militants in Pakistan, unfortunately.
So I would like to open up the questions to the audience here and online. This is from a correspondent from Afghanistan International, so I thought that would be appropriate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arif Yaqubi, and I'm a correspondent for Afghanistan International. I have a question from the Pakistani Prime Minister, which has two parts. First part is Pakistan willing to engage and negotiate with the anti-Taliban groups in exile for the future of Afghanistan? And the second part is, does Pakistan regret supporting the Afghan Taliban in the past? And does it believe that the Afghan Taliban are out of control now and don't listen to the Pakistani government? Thank you so very much.
For the sake of democracy, for the sake of helping Afghanistan, you must be aware, my friend, that Pakistan has not yet recognized the interim Afghan government, number one. We have engaged themselves, and we have taken actions 19th of April, 17th of July for the benefit of the people of Afghanistan, because you cannot, as a nation, many countries, for example, they have upgraded their diplomatic relations from charge d'affaires to ambassadorship. We have done it very recently, but many countries have done it long time back. And the government in Afghanistan recently has been recognized by one of the P5 members of the UN Security Council. So we are ready to do anything positive, engage in the interest, but we don't want to meddle in the internal affairs, nor we expect to anyone to meddle in our internal affairs. That's number one. Number two, the past is, there could be a long debate on what happened in the past, what was good, what was bad. But I do, agree that we have to all work together to take all measures which, eliminates this menace of terrorism from the globe, because this is something which is obviously not tenable to any country in the world. There may be a huge distance between Pakistan. As I said, we are the biggest victim of terrorism. And, we have paid huge costs. But if we had not done it, perhaps that menace would have spread to even to the United States of America by now. So we actually, contained it by losing our 80,000 people and hundreds of billions of dollars losses.
Another question about Afghanistan. How does the Pakistani government assess Russia's recognition of the Taliban government in Afghanistan? Do you anticipate that other governments will follow suit? And I would add also, have you discussed the possibility of the U.S. somehow raising its profile in Afghanistan and perhaps increasing aid or changing its status there?
Well, this action of Russia is obviously sovereign country. We can't, say that it should be done or should not be done. It is their sovereign right to decide, and they have done it. We haven't done it. That means we do not feel it appropriate at this stage. But we have, upgraded the charge d'affaires to ambassadorship in May, 30th of May. So that's number one. Do you anticipate the other governments will follow? No idea. I think you need a plebiscite or a voting to find out whether you will do it or not do it. But obviously, it is just anyone's guess.
Okay, on to Kashmir here.
Yeah.
Covering the globe. Will the people of Jammu and Kashmir located between India and Pakistan still have the opportunity to decide their future, whether to form an independent state or to merge with India or Pakistan? Is that possible?
We are absolutely ready. Under the auspices of United Nations, as per the UN Security Council resolutions, the Kashmiri people should be given the right to decide. It is them who have this basic right, and it must be exercised as soon as possible, because as per media reports, a lot of demographic changes are taking place in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So unless sooner the better, but we are okay with any outcome. There's no problem at all. Obviously, it is their right to decide whether they want independent, they want to go with India, they want to come with Pakistan. We have no issue at all. We are stuck with the core decision of the UN Security Council, which remains unimplemented for the last over 7 decades. That has to be done.
I want to go back to something that you said at the beginning in your opening remarks. You did mention Gaza, terrible scenes there that we're seeing. Did you discuss that with your American counterparts today, and what the U.S. role could be to try to resolve the situation and use its influence with Israel and to try to forge a ceasefire? Do you have any updates or how they?
Well, number one, we have actually discussed in the, because Pakistan has the presidency of UN Security Council this month in rotation. So I basically, I came for 2 signature events, ministerial open debate, and one was on, also Palestine, just on Wednesday. The other one was multilateralism, this peaceful settlement of disputes, which we believe is the diplomacy and dialogue is the way forward. And, we did discuss all regional and global issues, which obviously includes Gaza. At the moment, we are concerned because humanitarian, aid is totally blocked. Now people are dying of hunger. This is something, again, it's a typical, Jammu and Kashmir alike situation, Palestine, even worse. So, we encourage that all and sundry should do its best to stop, what's happening, get a ceasefire, come to the two-state solution, let them have the right to live, both of them, and that's the way forward with the 1967 borders and Al-Quds al-Sharif. I think this is it's doable, but somehow, this hostages issue, other pretexts, the recent decision in last 48 hours I think they've done legislation to annex West Bank. It won't go well. So it's going in the wrong direction unless it is the Gaza has become now a graveyard not of human being, also international law. Where is international law? Why these institutions were set up 80 years ago in San Francisco? It was supposed to have priority agenda, peace and security, development number 2, and human rights number 3. So the institutions, for the purpose of which they were created, are just not being able to discharge their responsibilities. So we should think seriously how to handle these things. I mean, those who obey, those who take the resolution seriously and implement are fine. Those who don't, they are also fine. The system can't work. The global law and order is crumbling, is getting weaker every month, every week and every day, unfortunately. And the two examples are in front of us.
Okay, I'm moving quickly here. Thank you for your patience. You recently said that Pakistan intervened to block the naming of the Resistance Front in the United Nations Security Council statement on the attack in Kashmir. Now America has officially designated the group as a terrorist organization. I know I asked you about this, but...
Yeah, let me explain to you. There's a timing difference. When the Pahalgam took place, it's weeks old story. There was a draft resolution moved by United States, I think. It had 2 ingredients. Pahalgam in India. Pahalgam, India. No, sorry, my apology. Pahalgam with no place. And number 2, it said TRF put the responsibility. We just took principled position. Pahalgam is somewhere. If I say London, London is more than one. In England, there's London, London is also another place. So we said put in Jammu and Kashmir, number 1. We blocked that resolution till our reservations were settled. TRF, we said show us any evidence. If they are responsible, it was just within days of that incident. We're talking April. So and everybody, including the United States, accepted it, by the way. After Pahalgam, it was written Jammu and Kashmir, and TRF was deleted. I mean, we don't carry veto power. So after that press release went public. So now if they have, as I said, they have evidence and they're doing it, we are not owner of this action as a country. It is US action, fine. They must have seen, necessary requisite to designate somebody, fine. But to where it is linkage indirectly to LET, that we have clarified. So at that time, we were neither given any evidence nor any claim of TRF that we have done it. Under those circumstances, we can't go presumptive. So, and they was accepted, a position was accepted by all Security Council members, the permanent as well as the elected. And it was amended. So if you see the press release on Pahalgam, you will not find TRF. My position, which is quoted, is at that time.
Thank you for answering that question. Thank you for coming here today.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for taking the time. Thanks to our audience here and all around the world for another Atlantic Council front page, and see you next time.
Thank you.